The Mandeville High School library was transformed into a virtual Holocaust museum. This collaborative project, now in its fourth year, teaches students about the history of the Holocaust as they walk through a maze-like tour of interactive displays that combine written research, news articles, photographs, video, music, art, and poetry.
They start with Hitler Youth, the rise of the Nazi Party, then they'll go through to the book burnings, Kristallnacht, the Nuremberg laws. From there they'll move into the movement of Jews into the ghettos. Then from there they'll go through the concentration camps, and then finally we get to liberation.
Students gather around selected artwork while the artists explain what they drew and why.
He was a really big inspiration because even though he was being hunted down by the Germans, he refused to leave the orphans.
There is an assignment for the students to complete as they experience this virtual museum.
The first part with the Holocaust end is just basically a reflection on what they experienced as they were walking through. The second part would be questions specifically about an artist's interpretation of a specific person. The last part would be the other genocides, and they basically summarize a genocide, and then we ask them questions as to why do you think this continues to happen.
And perhaps that's the most important question for the students to answer.
The main thing we want them to leave with is the fact that this terrible tragedy happened in our grandparents' lifetime, less than 100 years ago, and that it could still happen today. There's evil in this world, and that everybody can have a part in changing the world.
And one way this Holocaust virtual museum reminds the students of this important daily philosophy is in the power of the words they speak.
There was a Holocaust survivor who had said to her little brother, the last thing she said was, "What happened to your shoes? Can't you keep hold of anything?" And she called him stupid. And she said how those words were the last words she ever spoke to him, and why words are so important.
There is a poem written by a young boy who died in Auschwitz. It ends with the lines, "I am proud of my people, how dignified they are. Even though I am suppressed, I will always come back to life." And it's through the vision of these educators and students that his words will not only live on, but inspire these young students at Mandeville High School. Melody Menard, Channel 13.